Bruce here. Happy weekend and good Saturday morning. Let's jump into this. Let's start with this one's going to be on YBIT. I'll cover Misty and Coney together in a little while. So what happened on Friday? We had a pretty good day. Let's take a look at the Bitcoin chart. So this is over most of the trading day on Friday now. This is after midnight, and as we moved in, you can see we had pushed down to 56,000, right? So we were threatening this really 60,000, right? So trading between 60 and 67 over the last 10 trading days or so. So we ended up breaking out during the day 62,000 into 63,000, and that's holding up into the weekend. So that's very, very positive. It doesn't mean it can't go back down and break below, but we could also run up here at the top of the channel at 67. Let's see what it looks like on a 20-day time frame. Yeah, so this gives us that 67 over a number. Every one of the dotted lines is a day, right? So you can see here that it was pretty consistent. It's 60 to 67 here. These were back into the highs, like 73 or so, right? But this is pretty positive that we've broken through this breakdown. We've unconfirmed the breakdown. All right. So what happened on Friday in particular with BITO and YBIT, right? Because BITO is a tracking stock. So BITO moved up 4.52%. We moved up half of that, right? At 2.23 in YBIT. So I'm sure a lot of you were starting to, that owned it, or, oh God, here we go, right? I mean, look at these close prices, right? The very first day it closed at 2045, 1977, 91, 93, 80, but then we started the descent, right? So maybe this is a good sign. Let's take a look at the transactions. So this is what BITO had in terms of closes. Anytime you head into a Friday, once in a while they'll roll a weekly, especially if they have 3 or 4 or 5 weeklies, and there's no threat that they're going to run by them. They'll roll something, or if new people buy into the fund, they'll go sell the following week. But what we had here were simply expiring trades, right? So we bought to close, bought to close, bought to close for a penny. 210 contracts, 1,050, 720 at various strike prices, right? A 27.5, a 28, and a 28.5. And then we sold short, which is what we do in the weekly calls. Because we would have bought all of the other weekly calls and kept all that premium. So we sold out on the week of 5/10 a week, right? May 10th. We sold at 26. We sold 1,980 and collected 38 cents times all those contracts. So that's what it looks like, right? On paper. We sold, I had 92. Where was the 90 number? That's not on 5.3. I don't know why. Oh, that was 5.2, sorry. So we had sold, I gotta look, and sometimes they have multiple trades on the same day. So this situation, we sold 1,980 contracts, we collected 38 cents, and the strike price is $26. Now that's reasonably close. It's only 3.09% out of the money, right? Because we're setting at 25.22. So it's 75,000 that we collected on that, and that pushed our running total up to 202,000 that we've got in the piggy bank. And we secured wanted to show you this. The reason I marked these differently, this represents new position sold, and this represents last week's, and we closed those all out. So that's what it looks like on this tracking spreadsheet, right? A penny, a penny, a penny, and times all these contracts. So basically, we collected 35,280, spent 720 to close. So the math, when you subtract those, so we got 99% of our money, right? We got 80,700, right? So we only had to spend 1,700. And then on this one, we got 4410 of 4620, right? We spent 22 cents for some reason on this one. What was the strike price? 26.5. Just sometimes the way they're trading in these options market. Oh no, it says close. Sorry guys, it says close price 1 penny. But I thought I saw a bigger number. No, 210. Okay, so 1 penny, no problem. I saw the 22 and I was thinking they bought it back and they had sold it for $1 or something. But that's not the case. So don't mind me on that. All right, so we look good on that. Let's go and look at our synthetic. There were no trades in the synthetic. However, when we go up, then we get closer to this 29, right? And as we move up, the put value goes down, because when you're underneath 29, you know, we're 3.78, right? So 95% of this loss, this 803,000, is because we're underneath this. Very little is time premium, right? So we want to move up slowly to 29. We don't want to run by our weeklies, but that could happen. All right. Oh, something else I'm doing on the other ones. I'm going to change this background to black. I had some people tell me that black shows up so well. So I'm going to make everywhere there's black writing white and make this background black. And I did it on Coney and Misty, but I haven't updated all of this, but I will. Let's take a look at holdings. So not a lot changed. No new shares came in. Misty had a lot of shares come into it because they had a very large dividend, $2.52. And Coney didn't have any shares added, but had the second highest at 228. So I cover both of those along with YBIT. So anyway, the positive is we had a synthetic book value only underwater of 1.1 million. Then on Thursday the 2nd, it got down to 1 million even pretty much, and now we're only at 771. So we're trending in all the right directions. All right, let's go look at our weeklies. So this is the new positions, right? We collected 99.5% on all of the weeklies we wrote last week. Now, only 3%, technically it's 3.09, right? But we wrote 1,980 $26 calls at 38 cents, I believe was the number. Correct. So we stand to gain 75,000, and we don't want to really run by that, right? Once we get up to 26.38, we give that money back. Anything over 26.38, we start having to spend additional money to buy it back. But we gain on the synthetic, but we don't close out of the synthetic till 5/17. But for you guys, that's really good because we won't get our payment till June. So we're adding a lot of money to the kitty. So you guys that own BITO and we're looking at this one, or starting to like this one's going to do pretty well unless Bitcoin just falters completely. So back to the weekly, nothing else. They had these in place from before. This one we're already behind the 8 ball, but it's only 90 contracts. That's a very small amount of money. Let me show you that one, right? So that's 3,780. But when I look at the holdings, it's already a lot more than what we paid for it. I think it's 48 cents here, right? And we sold it for 42 cents. So we're setting in a negative, but we can be up to 25.42 and not lose money. We just won't keep our gain. But small potatoes, relative. All right, here's holdings, cash, all of that. Not a lot changed. I take it back. We sold this for 42 and it's now showing 87, right? Because we've moved up well above 25, right? So we closed at 19.28 and it says we're expensive by 24 cents, right? Now these other ones, and you'll notice once we make our payment, all the other funds that I cover, the NAV value will drop on the ex-dividend day the exact amount that they say they're going to pay out, because they pull all that cash out and put it somewhere else so it doesn't add up to all their assets. So the stock opens officially at that reduced amount, but then it trades throughout the day. So sometimes it runs up higher than it was at the beginning of ex-dividend and makes up for that. So people that just say, oh, it goes down on that day, they're correct. But then it trades at the market. So if BTC is moving up, and in YBIT, if BITO is moving up with BTC, so is going to be YBIT, right? Thought I'd just give you. And on BITO, I need to put this in a different format. But like I said, I don't get the actual prices. But it's interesting. I'm seeing this gain value, right? This is what this is this is on ProShares. Since we write puts and calls on there, and BITO sells and buys BTC futures on the commodity exchange, it's worthwhile me tracking. So I've been noticing they've left this position alone, the May futures, but the one that's out in June, they continue to sell little bits of it, right? And most of the time they've been making money, especially when it's been moving up. And that gets reflected here in their cash. But I just thought you need to know that at least I'm aware of it and I watch what it's doing. So nothing changed on the synthetics because we didn't add. We're now 13%, behind where we want to move to, right? Which is the $29 range. But this is looking better. Let's look at our holdings. Payment. I wanted you guys to see, because BITO in its monthly just paid, what was it, $1.48, I think, and the previous month was $1.14, and those are the two highest amounts it's paid in its 15, 16 months of existence. So in this fund already, now granted we have that 771,000 loss on paper, so we do need to get up closer to 29, but we've got 10 more trading days. So on the short call revenue, we've got 74 cents that we could distribute. And this is after 8 trading days, guys. So these YieldMax funds can make you money and produce high yield. We have a total income per share when we take the synthetic income that we've sold, so that we've actually cashed it. It's just on the books. If we had to close it tomorrow, we'd have a $771,000 loss. So we wouldn't show any income. But you're never going to see these not pay something. YieldMax is going to pay something because it's an income distribution first. Okay. Now, if they choose to pay and keep on paying and it's not making money, you're going to see your NAV erode, right? The price of the ETF. But everybody who says, oh, you're never going to make any money in the NAV, they're never going to go up because they're paying you income, that's not entirely true. I'm ahead in my Misty and I'm ahead in my Coney. I've been in the Coney for 6 months. I've been in Misty since it started in February. So again, it's where do you buy in, right? If you're not buying this when it goes to 16 or 17, if BITO runs or YBIT runs to 30 or 35 and you rush in and go, wow, I want in on that. That's paying good dividend, right? And you buy all of your allocation of money and shares at 35, and YBIT pulls back to 29, then you're going to go, oh, that's a scam. No wonder they're paying money. That just is the flow of the fund, right? Not because they're necessarily paying dividends. It's a bullish bet on BTC. So if BTC is just moving up slightly and even flat, you're going to make money on these short calls. You may not make much money on the synthetic. So what you don't want to see is it drop a lot consistently. Your synthetic will kill you. Your short call will produce some cash flow, right? But in evaluating these funds, I always say it's total return. So if you lose 10% on NAV, in other words, you bought it for 20, right? And it ends up at 18 and 1 year's gone by, but you got 70% distributions, right, throughout the year, then you have 70% gain and you have a 10% loss. So you have a net 60% gain. So I'd say that's pretty attractive. So just understand how these work and understand what you own. And they are adding some bearish funds, which I'm anxious to be in some of their bear funds because there's some categories in the market that I'm bearish on. Okay. All right. So guys, that's what I got for tonight. Just thought I would educate you a little bit on YBIT. Have a good rest of your weekend. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. This is for this is for fun and education only. Have a good one. Bye.